Hello friends, welcome back. In the previous class we have seen how do we represent a design for a point, and how do we create instances for point P1 and P2, and how do we identify the distance between the points, how do we get the angle between the points, right? In this class we are going to see how do we represent the circle, how do we create the fields for x, y and radius, and also we are going to represent whether the two circles overlap or not. Okay, so we are going to solve this problem in this class. We have already solved this problem. The most important thing is you people need to analyze what I need to do, the design, how do I create. Now let's come to our grid. Here we have two circles, circle 1 C1, circle 2 C2, and circle 1 has the center at 100 and 100. The circle is present, center is 100. Okay, that is a point P1 we can say, or the center we can say some name, and x1 y1 are the values of that center or the point 1, and the radius is r1 we say, and the radius is 100. Similarly we have another circle at 400 500, the radius r2 is also 100. Now we want to check whether the two circles overlap. You can see these two are not overlapped. Okay. Now how do we, when do we say that two circles are overlapped? Take an example. I will draw here one circle. This circle is a unit circle. Unit circle means the radius is 1. What I do, I just copy this and paste. If I keep like this, whether these two circles are overlapped, guys, can you tell me that whether they are overlapped? No, they are not overlapped. They are not collided, I can say. Now what I do, I take this and keep it somewhere here. Now let me paste once again. Tell me whether these two circles overlapped. You can say me whether these two circles overlapped, guys. No, right? They are not overlapped. When do we say two circles overlap? When it looks something like this. Now you can see that these two circles are overlapped. How do we solve this problem? First thing, we find the distance between the two circles, or from their centers, center points I can say. The distance we find, and we know how to find out the distance between 2 points, right? This is a point 1, point 2, and we get the distance very easily. Already we know how to find out the distance. So we need one function called as getDistance, which is going to give us the distance. Simple. Of course, both are having a radius, right? Both are having the radius. So the radius will be unit. As I told, the radius is 1. Now here, the radius is 1. So if I say here, simple code I can write here that the distance D, this is the distance from centers, is less than the radius is R1, first circle radius, plus R2. Here the radius 1 is 1, radius 2 is 1. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. Now what might be the distance in this place, guys? So this is 1 unit, let us take, here 2 units, here 3 units, here 4 units. So here if I calculate the distance, I will get 4. Okay. Whether 4 is less than 2, guys? No, the condition is false. As the condition is false, we can say that they are not overlapped. Now let us come to this place. Here also same thing. We find out the distance between the 2 points or centers, and of course both are having the radius 1 unit. Okay. Radius 1 plus radius 2 is 2. That is always constant, right? We are not changing any radius. So is less than the distance. Now distance you can see from here to here 1 unit, from here to here 2 units. So we write here 2. 2 is less than 2, guys. The condition is false. As the condition is false, we say that these two circles are not overlapped. The same way we come to this place now. So this is the center of C2, and this is the center of C1. And if you calculate the distance will be exactly 1 unit. Correct or not? 0.5 from this, 0.5 from that C2. So you are going to get the distance as 1. So distance will be 1. Good. And radius 1 plus radius 2 is 2, because radius we have not changed. 1 is less than 2, the condition is true. So we can say that these two circles are overlapped. Very simple. Now same functionality, same thing we are going to perform here. What we are going to do means, we are going to calculate the distance between this point to this point. Then we check out whether this distance is less than r1 plus r2, the radius 1 plus radius 2, then they are colliding. So here we need the functionality that first thing we can be able to tell whether what is the distance. The another thing we have to be able to tell whether the two circles are overlapped. So two functionalities are there. Already we have found the distance. Let us make a small, what can I do? I just keep it here. I keep here. Now we find out the distance. How do we find the distance? Of course, to find out the distance, I need 2 points. So we need circle 1 and circle 2, right? So I can create one function called as get distance, right guys? Get distance function takes another circle, let us take C2. So this C2 is going to have x, y and radius, and our current circle is going to have x, y and radius. So we can find out the distance between them. And another function we are going to create is overlaps. Okay, overlaps is a function which needs 3 important properties. One is the distance, another one is the radius 1 of the circle 1, radius 2 of the circle 2. So I can give here 3 float variables. Float distance d, another one float r1, that is the radius 1, and float r2, that is the radius 2. So these 3 properties it takes, and it returns back us true or false, whether two circles overlap or not. So this is going to be a boolean one. Boolean it returns. Whereas get distance is going to return a float. It just gives us the distance between the circle 1 and circle 2. So we have identified behaviors, what two circles are going to do, or any one circle can do. You can find out whether this circle overlap with this or this circle overlap with this. Simple. And of course we need few properties, x, y and radius. You can say r or radius, any term you can use. These are the 3 properties we need. Okay, so let's start making a code. So here I create first a structure called circle, very simple. Okay, then I create the fields private float x, which is going to be the x position of the circle, private float y, which holds the y position of the circle, private float r, which represents the radius of the circle. So here we are going to create the properties for them. Public float x indicates the x property. So we are going to create the setter. And what is the responsibility of setter? This dot x equal to value, semicolon, close. And then we are going to create a getter. What is the responsibility of getter? Return this dot x. And you can see that private members you can directly access inside the body of the structure. Okay, you can put this keyword and write x. If you do not want to use this keyword also, no problem, because I told you when you have tried this keyword, right? Okay. Next, public float y, which is going to be the y. So setter, we are going to say this dot y is equal to value we have. Then another one is the getter. Its responsibility is to return this dot y, semicolon, close. Then another property we are going to create is the float r. R indicates the radius. You can write complete name here. Radius also you can write R-A-D-I-U-S. Radius also you can write. Whenever you are accessing, you have to write the complete name, radius. Okay. I keep simple r. Okay. Then another one is a set. So we are going to set here this dot r is equals to the value, right? Similarly, we are going to create a getter, which is its responsibility is to return this dot r. So it should return the radius for us. So we have now properties created. Good. Now we can create the circles here. So circle C1 is equal to new circle, and I can say C1 dot x is equal to 100.0f, C1 dot y is equal to 100.0f, C1 dot r, the radius is equal to 100.0f. That is what we have the circle, right? Another circle, circle C2 is equal to new circle I can create, and C2 dot x is equal to 400.0f, C2 dot y is equal to 500.0f, then C2 dot r is equal to 100.0f. Now we have represented the circle 1 we created, circle 2 we created, and we have created the fields and properties. Let's create the get distance and the overlaps actions or the behaviors. First function is going to be a public function which the user can access to find out the distance between the two circles by using the function name get distance. And we know that it is going to take another circle, circle C2, because the circle C2 has the x and y. We need those to find out the distance. So here I create a float variable known as x distance, which will helps us to get the C2 dot x, you can see, minus this dot x. This indicates the current variable, right? The current circle there that we are going to pass when we call the get distance, one extra parameter, right? So float y dist is equal to C2 dot y minus this dot y. So here we found the x distance and y distance. Now we have to find out the actual distance. It is going to return back mathf dot absolute of mathf dot square root of x distance multiplied by x distance, which will give us the x distance square plus y distance times y distance, bracket close, bracket close, bracket close, semicolon. Now here we get the actual distance. Now we can find out the actual distance very easily. So I can create one float variable to say d. D indicates the distance for us. So here I can say C1, hey C1, go and get the distance from yourself to the circle C2. That's it. So it will calculate. When we call the get distance, we know that we are passing the C2 circle plus we will be passing the C1. That will be stored in the this extra parameter. That this dot x, this dot y helps us to get the values. Okay. Now we can display the distance also. Let us take we can say debug dot log, in double quotation I can say the distance plus d, that is the distance. We know what is the distance between these two circles. We have used the Pythagoras theorem. We can find out the x distance and y distance, right? So from here to here is the x distance, and from here to here y distance. You can calculate the x distance. So what is x distance, guys? X2 minus x1. X2 is 400, x1 is 100. 400 minus 100 is 300. So that is going to be the x. 300 is the x distance or x, I can say. And the y distance we have to find out. Y2 minus y1, 500 minus 100 is going to be 400. Okay. Then we are using the Pythagoras theorem to find out the distance. So x square plus y square. What will be the x square plus y square? X square we are going to find out 300 multiplied by 300 is equal to 90,000. 90,000 is a x square, guys. Remember that. Similarly 400 multiplied by 400, which is equal to 1,60,000. That is y square. Y square plus x square, if I do 90,000, 1, 2, 3, we get 2,50,000. So 2,50,000 is present in this place. We have to find out the square root of it. So square root we are going to find out by using this. Square root of 2, if I say equal to, that is 500. 500 is the actual distance, guys. So that is what we have to get in our Unity. So let us check it out. Are we getting 500? If I run the code, we can see that distance is 500. Now we have distance. Now we have radius 1. Now we have radius 2. So we can find out whether these two circles collided or not. So we can create another function called as a public. A boolean value it returns, and the function name we can say as overlaps, and it takes three different parameters. First one, the distance between the two circles or distance between the points, and another one is the radius 1, and another one is the radius 2. Now what is its responsibility? Return back if distance is less than r1 plus r2. So its responsibility is to tell whether the distance is less than r1 plus r2. If distance is less than r1 plus r2, it returns true, otherwise false. Of course we know that r1 is 100, r2 is 100. So 100 plus 100 is 200. Distance we are getting 500. 500 is less than 200 is false. So we will get the false. That means they are not overlapped. So we can find out now. I create here one boolean variable. I can say overlapped. Overlapped is equal to. So we are going to say C1. Hey C1, check overlaps for me. And I am giving you the distance C1 dot R. That is the radius 1. Then I am giving you C2 dot R. That is the radius 2. Now you can see that C1 dot R I need not to pass actually. Why? Because whenever I call the overlaps function, I will be passing the C1 there, and that C1 will be available in the this keyword, and this will help me to get the radius. So I can reduce the parameters here. I can remove this R1. I can keep only for R2. To get the R1, I can say this dot R. This means the C1. C1 dot R we are getting, and C2 dot R we are passing over here. So I need not to pass that also. So here we are passing C2 dot R, and the distance that we have found, we are passing to this. It returns us the result. So I can save here and I can check it out. Debug dot log overlapped. I can just say here overlapped variable. So here I get either true or false. Let us check it out. It should give us false back. So we should get here false. Okay, I just save here and check this place, clear this, and let me run the code. And you can see that overlapped is false. Good. Let us check it out something else. Okay, let us take the circle has come over here now. Now circle is in this place. It has come to this place. So C2 is this place. C2 is now here. What is its x and y? X is 200, y is 200. And the radius will be same only. Now this time these two are overlapped. Let us check it out and change the value and check out. So x, C2 dot x is now 200. C2 dot y is now 200. Okay, I save it. Now we have moved the C2 somewhere else and radius is same. Now again we find out the distance between C1 and C2 and we check overlap. This time it should give us the distance, maybe something. How much the distance is there, guys? X distance is 100, Y distance is 100. So the actual distance, if you find out how much it will come, you can calculate. So 100 into 100 is equal to 10,000. So 10,000 plus 10,000 we can take 1, 2, 3 equal to 20,000. If we calculate the square root of it, 141. So that is the distance it is calculating. So let us check it out and run the code. We got the distance 141. 141, we know that it is less than 200. So we get the result true. So this is the way how you are going to find out, or how do you write a code and analyze yourself Okay, you people need to build the skill now. Okay? You know everything, just you need to build yourself, identifying the problems, identifying the fields, identifying the properties, identifying the behaviors, and putting them in one place and using them to solve some problems. I hope you guys have understood. Now your responsibility is trace this code. Analyze yourself how each and every line is executing, because you know already I have explained how it works. Now I can change this to class also. I can say here class. I just save this one. Okay. And I come back. It works the similar way. Let us run and check. We got the distance 141 and overlapped equal to. So I hope you guys have understood. Only the flow of execution will be different. Not flow of execution. The way of execution is different in when you use the class and when you use the structure. You need to see what you are passing, what you are getting. Okay, I have explained what will be passed, what you will get back. And you can see that I have not created the constructors in this class. It is not necessary that you have to create, you have to put everything. Okay? It depends according to your requirement. Here what I wanted is I wanted to create two empty circles. Then later I want to fill them. I wanted to fill the x, y and radius. This is how I did. If I want, I can keep the constructor also. I can use the parameterized constructor so that I can create the circle with float x, float y, comma, float r that takes the radius, and here I can say this dot x equal to x that user passes, this dot y equals to y that the user gives me, right? This dot this dot r is equal to r. So you can create now the circle by using the parameterized constructor also. If I do not want to use properties, I can directly create another circle. I can create somewhere else. Let's take I create another circle. So circle C3 is equal to new circle, and I can use the parameterized constructor this time, x, y, r. I can use this one. So I can say here this circle will be maybe at 300.0f, 300.0f, and the radius of this circle will be maybe 50.0f, right? I can create another circle. Let us take circle C4 is equal to new circle, and this circle will be just at 350.0f and 350.0f, and its radius is 50.0f. And if I want to find out the distance, I can find out now. So we have d available that we have created. Here you can see we created the d. I can use that one only. So d is equal to C3 dot get distance, and I can pass C4 to it so that it returns me the distance. And I can also find out whether they have overlapped, right? I can use this variable overlapped is equal to C3 dot overlaps with, and you have to pass the d, and C4 dot r. You have to pass the radius of the C4, because C3 radius we get anyhow. And we can display again what is the distance. Now I can copy this, I can paste here, I can copy this and paste here. Now the distance will be different, overlap will be different, because we are finding the distance between C3 and C4 here, and overlapped C3 and C4. So let us save and check, because I think these two should be overlapped, right? 50-50, let's make it 100 so that it is easy for us to understand. 100, 300 and 350. So that means we are having a circle at 300 and 300, that is here. You have one circle of radius 100 over here. Okay, and another circle is at 350, 350. 350 maybe over here, this is a 50. So here 350. So around this you will be having another circle of 100 radius. So maybe it looks something like this, right? Maybe it looks something like this, and they are overlapped also. You can see circle does not contain the constructor that takes 0. Oh yeah, This error I wanted to point out. So please see here, the type circle does not contain the constructor that takes 0 argument. What is the meaning of that? Means if you create yourself an explicit parameterized constructor or a copy constructor, you will not be having the default constructor in terms of class. Okay, so you have to explicitly create the default constructor also. Remember this circle, most of the time we get this error. So this dot x equal to 0, this dot y equal to 0, this dot radius equal to 0. That creates the circle with 0, 0, 0. So here we are using that default constructor to create a circle with 0, 0, 0. Then later we are assigning x, y and r. Okay, here we are using default constructor, later we are assigning x, y, r, whereas here we are using the parameterized constructors. I just save. Now you will not be having the error. And if I run the code, you can see that distance is 70, overlap is true. I hope you guys have understood this code. Please build your skill, understand yourself. Okay, and you can do a little bit clean coding, like anyhow this is completely, I think, properly understandable, right? You can create regions. It is better to create regions if you want. The region which is for fields, FILDS fields, and this for hash end region. Good. And I can collapse that, and here I can say hash region properties. It is good. Okay, it is good if you people practice these things. REGION hash end region. I can collapse this. I can see where is what now, right? Hash region. This is for member, or just I can say methods up to here. Hash end region, right? I put it here. Then I create here hash region constructors hash end region. Now I can collapse and expand them whenever I want. Let us take, I want to create one more method. Then I just go directly open this methods part. I will write here another method. I will start writing here the method. If I want to add a property, okay, then I just go directly to properties, and here I add one property. So this will be very useful to manage your document. And also you can give the proper documentation, okay, to your class, so that other people can easily understand. Let us take an example, that methods, and here I can create an XML notation, okay, and you can see already it has given the summary that gets the distance. That is good. Gets the distance, right? Gets the distance. Instead of that I can say gets the distance between this object, or I can say current object and C2, or you can say other circle. I can say other circle and this circle. I can say that is the more intuitive, right? Gets the distance between this circle and the other circle, right? And here I can say returns the distance. That is good, no problem. And here the param name C2. So C2, it is asking for the C2, right? You have to pass here, I can say pass other circle, right? You can create the XML notation for this method also. And you can see overlap the specified D and R2. That is not a proper one. I can say here returns true if this circle overlaps with other circle. That is much more intuitive. And what are the parameters it takes? It takes the distance. You have to pass here distance, and here you have to pass radius of other circle. You can write like this. So that is much more good, meaningful. Why we write like this documentation? They are very useful. You can see that I can see gets the distance between the circle and the other circle, returns if this circle overlaps with other circle, right? Nice. And also whenever I call, let us take C1 dot, I want to write get distance. If I write get distance, you can see here it shows the summary. gets the distance between this circle and the other circle. Good. I put a bracket, and now it is asked, now we have to see, we have to pass the C2. Actually it is not telling here, much more intuitive, but if you take only one parameter is there means it is not showing. But if you take overlaps function, you can see overlap returns true if this circle overlaps with the other circle. So it is much more useful, the summary that you have written there, the documentation. And first I pass the distance. Let us take maybe the d variable I pass. I put a comma, and you can see for R2 it has highlighted, and it is asking here parameter R2 indicates that radius of other circle. So you have to pass the radius of other circle. So this is really good, right? You have to create regions, you have to follow these standards, you have to follow naming conventions, you can create regions, and you can create the documentation for each and every variable and method, so that others can understand easily. Even you can understand that code later, make it much more intuitive. I hope you guys have understood. For this class, this much is enough, guys. Thank you guys. Thank you very much. See you in the next tutorial with some other problem, and we solve that problem. Thank you guys. Thank you very much. Keep learning, keep coding. See you in the next tutorial.